Hey, what's up? This is D, and today I will show you the Captor X by Two Notes. Let's start by talking about what the Captor X actually does. Basically, it is a multi-tool set for real tube amps. It offers a load box, it offers virtual cabinets, it lets you load your own impulse responses, it has great post effects, it has a gate, it has a tuner, so literally everything that you will need in combination with your tube amp. With my Ibanez guitar, I'm going into a Morningstar pedal and then straight into my Vox AC15. And I am not using the internal speaker of my Vox amp, so I'm only using the pre and post amp section. From the Vox AC15, we go into the Captor X, and from there straight into my RME interface. So the first function, which I mentioned before, is the load box. In case you didn't know, if you are using tube amps without a cabinet, they will actually break, and the Captor X prevents this from happening. So that's a very, very handy feature. And the signal that my Vox is sending to the Captor X actually sounds something like this. Not too nice, right? But don't worry, since the Captor X also offers cabinets, it can create something like this. I can use my tablet as a remote control for the Captor X, which is quite amazing. I don't have to connect it to a computer and dial in all the changes. I can simply take my tablet, connect it via Bluetooth, and do everything from there. Let's jump over to the app and have a look. This is the Two Notes app that actually comes with the Captor X. You can download it in the App Store for free. And you have quite a lot of possibilities here. Let's start by turning off everything. So you have some post effects here. I will turn them all off. And I think that should be it. Cool. Let's start by this main window over here. You actually can see that there's a cabinet, which is kind of like giving you a visual picture of the cabinet that you chose. On the bottom, you have different options. And if you click here on caps, guitar, you have several options for cabinets. Let's start with this one. Sounds like a cabinet, maybe some Marshall cabinet with greenback speakers, I would suggest, maybe. So it was probably inspired by that. And it looks like that too. Let's try another one. Quite like this one, but why not? Voice 30 sounds like some Vox. Cool. We can try some more, but they actually all sound pretty good. This is maybe some angle box. I think nobody's using a Vox amp with an angle box, is there? Let's go back to the first one we had over here. This is how I would always start to change the settings. Start with the biggest and most fundamental thing, which is the cabinet itself. I really like this one, the greenback inspired one. And I will just turn the level a little bit up here on the output button. Let's maybe talk quickly about the in and out level. You find the in level on the bottom left corner. And I dialed in my amp's master volume so that it matches the green LEDs. That leaves me enough headroom in case I'm adding any pedals that might add some volume. And it prevents me from clipping. The same goes on the bottom right corner. There you have the out level. And I'm trying to leave enough headroom, but I like if there's occasionally a yellow LED too. So on my headphones that's loud enough now. Cool. So I would start with a cabinet and definitely adjusting the in level and out level, so you have a great gain staging going on. The next thing I'm noticing right now on my headphones is a little bit of hum going on. Normally I would start dialing in some other things, but I'm quite annoyed by this humming, so I'm fixing this first. And right next to the input level you have a gate. Let's engage the gate. And down there is a learn function. So you basically just have to press the learn button, mute your strings, and the app itself will detect how much noise is going on and set all the settings for you. Cool. Let's see what happens. You can adjust the threshold, and if you set it too high, obviously you will hear nothing. So let's stick to the learn function. Cool. And there's a green LED also showing when the gate is closing, so you get a visual feedback of what's going on. There's a soft and hard function for the gate. I like to leave it on the soft. I don't need the really hard cuts. It's a Vox amp anyway, so it's not like we're doing some metalcore here where you need like the really separated notes. So this is more bluesy kind of sound going on here. Cool. So we set the in level, we set the out level, and we chose a cap that, well, at least I liked. The next thing is you see those microphones over here. And the cool thing is I can just take my finger and actually move these microphones around. So these cabinets that Two Notes is offering are not just like simple impulse responses, but basically every little position is its own impulse response. So basically with every cap, there are tons of sound options coming. And I could, move the microphone with my finger, but I can also use the axis and distance button on the bottom to make more precise changes. With my thick fingers, I can move it very rough, but with the axis and distance button, I can get very close to where I want it. So what I'm doing is I'm muting the second microphone and adjust the first one until I like what I'm hearing. For the first microphone, I'm trying to get a very direct signal, so I don't want the microphone over here, which gives me more of like a room sound. I want a very direct sound. That sounds good to me. Let's try some different microphones. That's actually also something very cool. So, normally an impulse response is one cabinet with one microphone in one specific position. And here you can choose your cabinet, you can choose which microphone you like, and you can choose the position of the microphone. So it's like a dynamic impulse response. This sounds like an SM57, which I normally quite like for guitars, probably since you hear it so often, basically on every record, because everybody uses them. So you're kind of used to that sound. That's why I probably like it. Cool, sounds good to me. Now I will engage the second microphone. Turn up the volume. Maybe I will mute the first one too to hear what's going on. Checking some different microphones. Like that one. Sounds also good to me. Let's check it with the other microphone. I like that one in combination. I like the, what was it? I like the 421 better in solo, but in the mix, I think I like this one a little bit better. And what you can do here is you can bypass it. You can hear this awful sound that's coming straight from the amp, or you can totally mute the signal. And down here, you have the possibility to flip the phase, which is actually something super handy. When a signal hits different microphones at different times, there is a chance that the phases are not aligned, but the phases are actually inverted. And what happens is that the sound gets thin, or some frequencies can get cancelled out. Sometimes the change is subtle, sometimes the change is very intense. I would always suggest that you just hit the button, listen to if it sounds better or worse, and then go with whatever sounds better for you. Let's try it. So here's the change, quite intense. It doesn't sound that good. And we flip it back and have the full sound. So phase issues can take the direct feel of a signal. So now I feel the guitar is more like here, and with the phase flipped, so with the wrong phase alignment, the guitar feels like it is in another room or just a few meters apart. Cool. The next thing we talk about is the post effect section, which you find on the right side. You have multiple effects going on here. So the first one is an equalizer. You have 3 different settings. So you have a guitar, bass, and custom mode. And the custom mode is a full parametric equalizer that can be very, very handy. My philosophy with equalizers is if I have to do too much equalizing, then there's something wrong before the equalizer, and I'm trying to fix that. Let's say I like to add an intense amount of, I don't know, 6K, and I like to cut 20 decibels of 800 hertz. Then I might consider changing the microphone positions or changing the cap. I might add like 1 decibel 2K and 1 decibel of 6K over here to give it just a little bit more high end. But again, like the equalizer is something I'm not too fancy using, but it's great that it's built in, so you have the option. I'm leaving it off for now. Let's listen to it without the enhancer. I turned on the level a little bit because I know what's going to happen. And with the enhancer, so there's definitely a jump in volume, but just listen to what happens to the sound itself. I already did some fine-tuning with the enhancer, so let's turn it all to 0%. Now there's no change when I turn the enhancer on. Let's get a like 50% dry wet mix, and I want to start with the brilliance because I like guitars to be very bright, at least most of the times or sometimes. Okay, let's turn it off again. And you can hear that nice change in the high end. Let's add some thickness and some body. Let's turn it off again and on. And then you can just play around with the dry and wet to see how much of the enhancer you want to have in your signal. Maybe some brilliance, why not? that's a nice sound with a cool attack, kind of like AC/DC-ish. And then the next thing is a reverb. And you can see that the room where the cabinet is in actually got some color. You see that? Now it's black and white, and now it got color. So the reverb is also reflected in the picture, which is great because I like visuals, just to see what's going on, you know? You have a dry and wet, so you can make it very reverbish. Or just a little bit. And then over here, you have all the different reverbs that are built into the Captor X. And they all sound very, very nice. And you can also see that, you know, with every reverb, there's a picture coming, so you can kind of like see what the reverb is emulating. So what kind of room the reverb is emulating, I should say. You have a room and ambience knob. So the room knob will give you actually lots of early reflections, emulating a smaller room. And the ambience room will give you less early reflections, but therefore a longer decay. Let's check that out. Let's switch to ambience. And you can hear the long decay, as if the room was just bigger. Let's go back to Studio A, it sounded good. Go back to ambience. I like that twangy sound a lot. Cool. You can also change the room size. It's too big for me. The echo. Okay. Okay, that's a drastic sound change. Let's leave it up here. The color. So that has less high end. This has more high end. Let's leave it around here. Was good. And width. If you're using headphones, you might hear a difference. So now the reverb is very narrow. And now the reverb is very left and right. So very spread. Cool, I like that. And the next thing that you have is the twin tracker. And once you hear what the twin tracker does, there is actually no going back. You want to leave it on all the time. At least that's what I felt. So here's the signal without the twin tracker. And here it is with it on. And what it actually does is it emulates you playing your guitar part twice. So one of the signals is a little bit delayed and a little bit modified, while the other one is just as it is. And you can change the tightness button. So now you can actually set up how far the two voices are apart from each other. So how much is the gap between the one side with the other one. Yeah, now you can hear it quite good. If I'm in the studio and I have to double my guitars and I play like this, I'm not gonna get hired again. So let's set it back a bit. I like to edit just a little bit to, just thicken up the sound. Turn it off. Turn it on. Cool. Yeah, I like that. Then effect-wise, well, it's not really an effect, is it? But you have a tuner over here. I'm actually a little bit off tune, but never mind. And on the bottom part, on the very left, you have an output knob, which is actually representing the output knob on the front. And you have a voicing knob, which is also on the front. And this is basically something very cool. It's like a one-band equalizer that is cutting around 900 Hertz. So you can either cut around 900 Hertz or give it a boost. Let's try that out. So this is now doing nothing. Now we are cutting. Let's boost it again. So now it's again at unity. Cool. And let's boost the 900 Hertz. Cool. I can see how this is useful in some situations, but I'm gonna leave it at unity. And the space knob is also on the front of the device, and you can actually set here what it is doing. So now it controls the dry-wet level of the reverb, and now it is the stereo field. So that's quite nice. And you should see when I turn it, I turn the space knob and you can see the reverb knob also turning. And when I switch the mode to the stereo expander, now it is corresponding to the tightness button. So you can set it up however you like. I can see how this is useful when you set it to the reverb button and just, you're in a live situation and you're thinking, that's a little bit much reverb. Let's turn it down a little bit, and you can just go over to the space knob and turn it down. So. Let's turn down the output a little bit more. And you can also change this stereo over here to dual mono. And this is useful if you want to split the left and right channel. Let's say your left channel goes to the front of house and the right channel goes to, let's say, a monitor box or something. Now you have the chance to actually dial in another equalizer to fit to your monitor box, for example. I leave it on stereo though. And now we can actually try and just check some other caps maybe. Cool. Probably some angle cabinet. That looks Marshall-ish. That looks more like Mesa, maybe? So actually, all of these caps sound quite good. That looks like the Nuno Bettencourt one. I think it's Randall, isn't it? So as you can see, all of the caps sound quite good. I would definitely suggest trying it out and, you know, just dial in all the sounds so that you end up with something that you like. I will switch back to the cabinet we started with. I think it was this one. And make sure to save it over here. I did some presets before, but I like this one a lot. And let's name it, I'm using the Vox amp with the top boost channel, and I'm using the JHS pedal, the Morning Glory, I think it's called. So I can hopefully remember next time I'm using this sound. The cool thing is also that you can actually use the Captor X completely with a MIDI pedal. So it comes with a little adapter, and now I could simply say whenever I'm using this pedal with this amp, I could use my what's it called, Morningstar, my Morningstar MIDI controller, and select this preset. There you go, done. And then when I want a little solo boost, I can save the same preset with like a little volume boost, let's say like this, and then I could have the same sound, just a little bit louder to cut through the mix, and I could just use the MIDI pedal to select this preset. So that's also a very handy feature. Cool. So definitely make sure to check out the Captor X and the amazing app that comes with it. It's great fun, especially when you are loving tube amps like I do. And yeah, I just realized this was actually the first gear review that I did. So leave a comment if you liked it, or also if you didn't, so I won't do it again. See you next time.